beautiful people. Welcome back to Twinning Garcia.
Episode 4.
I feel like healing some emotional shit in this episode.
Yeah, I think it's long overdue.
I've been in like a little emotional roller coaster these past few weeks.
Yeah, it's been rough. The energy has been
Mm-hmm.
rough.
Yeah, a lot of like self-battling, at least on my end, has been going on, you know, where the old Roxy wants to come up and then wants to fight the new Roxy, and it's like, which Roxy will win?
And then for me, it's just been, dealing with everybody else's energy. And then, my therapist want to bring up stuff from my past. Like, why would you do that? Like, for what?
Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, so it's...
Yeah. I think we have a hard time, like, processing emotion because of, obviously, our childhood. Right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, why do I feel like crying already?
Oh my god. I thought you said that time of the month was done. Like, we just did it.
I know. Oh, no. You see? There goes that trauma.
That's what happens when you skip 2 therapy sessions. Yes. That's why it's important to go
2 therapy sessions
every single week.
Yes, because then it builds up.
Yeah.
It builds up. But I feel like a lot of people, though, have had parents that just don't know how to handle emotions, right?
Yeah. It's definitely like, I think, well, I literally just talked about this with my therapist this past session. And I told her, I said, I don't know if it's like a cultural thing, a generational thing. But like growing up, having immigrant parents, like parents that were not born here, it's definitely, it was not a thing to talk about, like, your emotions, you know? Like, it wasn't like, oh, how you feeling today? It was just like, all right, you gotta keep it going, you gotta keep it moving, and that's what it was, you know? And I know, like, me, I was a huge crybaby when I was little. And that's exactly what I told my therapist. Like, I used to cry about everything. And I remember it because they made fun of it. They still make fun of me like, to this day about it. So it's like, and then, my dad, he was like the worst with dealing with emotions.
Yeah.
And he would tell me, like, stop crying or get out of my face. You know, like, get out of my face. Don't cry. You're annoying. Like, don't cry. Or if you're gonna go cry, get out. Get out of here. Like that. So definitely.
Damn, I didn't pack tissues. So we're gonna need tissues in this episode?
No, I got all my crying out because, like, I told my therapist, she's like, well, why do you think he was like that? And I said, I don't think it was him being an asshole or a jerk or he did it on purpose, because that wasn't him, you know? I just, I think, unfortunately, my dad was from the streets. So he, if he couldn't fix it with fighting, he didn't know how to fix it. So he didn't know how to deal with my crying because...
But that also shows, like, he didn't know how to process his own emotions either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He only knew how to fight.
Yeah, that's all he did. He would, like, just jump to anger and it would be a wrap. Like, it was always physical. But yeah, I mean, that kind of suppressed us though, right?
Well, yeah, because growing up,
we didn't know how to deal with our emotions.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't cry around anyone. Like, as I got older, obviously when I was little, I couldn't help myself. But as I got older, definitely, like, if I cried, it would be at night. Wow, this sounds really depressing.
But I did the same thing. Like, I would cry at night.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody to see me cry. It would either be at night in the shower, or when I got older, I would cry in my car.
Yeah. Or it would definitely be like a silent cry. Like, just you let the tears stream. Well, at least for me, you let the tears stream down, and then that was it. You go to sleep and you keep it moving because you couldn't. Like, that in my head, at least that's what was registered, right? Because as a child, I was told, get out of my face, you're annoying. So I associated crying with being annoying. Like, it wasn't a normal thing. Why were you crying? Get your shit together, little kid. So it's like, so as an adult, definitely I still, even like, I catch myself, like, I try to be more vulnerable, but it's very uncomfortable being vulnerable. So I even catch myself now, like, if I'm talking and I'm about to cry, I stop talking and I look up, so no tears come out. And I'm like, just give me a second, I don't like people hugging me, because if they hug me, I'm gonna cry more. So it's definitely caused major trauma.
Drama.
And and my therapist told me, like, that's why you're in avoidance. Like, you avoid feeling any emotions because as a child you were told
not to.
Yeah. Like, you were told, why are you crying, or get out of my face. Yeah. They made it that me showing any emotions was not normal. It was a bad thing. And
you now, right, we have to reprogram ourselves. And that shit is hard, because when something is coded, right, you got to find the fucking little coding and recode it. You got to retrain yourself.
Yeah. And until then, you put your emotions in other ways. Like, that you don't even know, right? Like, for you, I know it was physical.
Yeah, I was like my dad.
I was
very violent.
For me, I put it into drinking. Not that I was
also like my dad.
Yeah. Not that I was an alcoholic.
Almost.
But I think I was borderline. Like, I definitely did drink a lot. Like, a lot. Sometimes I was even, like, especially in the summers, I was drinking Monday through Sunday. Like, when I think back to it, it's like, ugh, like, disgusting.
Well, I kind of, like, became a weekend alcoholic for like 2 years.
Yeah, I think I was definitely a weekend alcoholic, for sure. For a long time, I was a weekend alcoholic. Like, as soon as Friday hit and I clocked out, drink on. Yeah. Like, until, like, so that was just it. So I think there's definitely different ways people cope with their emotions because they don't know how to truly be vulnerable. Express them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I know the only way I could be vulnerable was when I drank. That was the only way I was able to express myself to people. And it's still a joke to this day. Like, people will be like, oh my God, when you hear Cristina say she loves you, it's a wrap. She's drunk. And it's like, no, like, I'm trying to correct myself. And you definitely, it's hard. It's hard because when you've gone your basically your whole life, because even as a newborn, I was told to stop crying. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's funny how, like, you use these substances so you can authentically express yourself, right? Because when you're sober, you were so, like, scared to.
Yeah.
And for me, it was the opposite. Like, when I was sober, I was always in my feelings and my thoughts. So I use substances to numb me. So I wouldn't have to feel and think the way I did when I was sober.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you think about it, right? I used to drink to be vulnerable and everything, just like Papi.
Yeah.
Because that was the only time
Papi would
you
be
would
like,
see him cry or anything.
I love you.
Yes.
And yeah.
Or get emotional. and all this.
Yeah.
That was the only time. So when you knew those tears were there,
mm-hmm.
and it's funny because that used to annoy me. But it didn't annoy me that he was crying, because I think crying is great for everyone. I tell everyone now, like, yo, let it out. Like, let that shit out. Because I know it's like right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to hold it in. Or you'd be like, no. You know, like, I know it's right there. It used to annoy me because it was like, this was the only time. Like, is it even true? You know, you start thinking, like, do you really mean it? Or is it just alcohol, like you know, liquid courage? Trying to
bullshit me.
Yeah, like, is it liquid courage? You know.
No, I think he, definitely, like you, it was the only time where he felt he can authentically emotionally express himself.
Yeah, right. So, which is why I think, like, you know, when my therapist asked me that, I said, I don't think he meant anything to be a jerk, or he did it on purpose, or he was an asshole, because he wasn't. Well, sometimes, you know. But I think it's because he just, if he could not fix it with fighting, he just didn't know how to deal with it. Yeah. Because no one ever dealt with his emotions, you know? So he just was once again repeating the cycle.
Right.
Copy and paste.
Which is what I honestly like. I try to change with my daughter because, you know, I try really hard not to tell her to stop crying. Like, I'll let her cry, and then I'll console her and ask her how she's feeling or what's making her feel that way. You know, am I 100% at it? No. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you know.
But that has a lot to go with, like, balancing.
Yeah.
You know,
because, you know, there's times that she cries really for no reason because she's not getting her way. But I try to break that cycle. I don't want to repeat that cycle where I'm not allowing her to work out through her emotions. You know, I'll teach her like breathing techniques, you know, things like that. So she can find a way to like calm herself down instead of getting frantic. Like me personally, I know that whenever something would get me upset, I would just fucking go nuts. Yeah. I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. Like, I was literally, I would punch a fucking tree trunk. And I didn't care if all my knuckles broke or they were cut up. Like, I would punch brick walls. Like, when I'm telling you, it was like the teenage version of throwing a tantrum. That's definitely what it was. Because tonight will be the night. Yeah, but it was like it was a hot mess, and it took many years, okay, of like therapy and journaling and self reflection and meditation and talking to God and, you know, talking to the universe, whatever makes you feel better. People get funny about that word, God. But you know, it took a lot of work, and I think it's something that's very common, and I see it all the time when we're walking in the street. People just like full of anger and shit, you know, and it's like, where's that coming from? Well, probably little Timmy over there got fucking smacked up one time. A few times in his life, told her shut the fuck up, and all little Timmy wants to do is fucking cry, and now he can't, you know. So it's shit like that, like, yeah. So to little Timmy or you and I, right? Little Tina. That all that emotional turmoil and that rage kind of felt normal for a little bit. Right? Because like that's all we knew. Yeah. Right? Like that's all we knew how to process, how to deal with it. I know I speak for myself, probably for you as well. I didn't realize it wasn't normal until I started healing. Yeah. You know, until like things were put into a different perspective for me. Yeah, so I don't think it's, it's just not normal seeing the type of shit we've seen. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen crazy shit yourselves. Let's just be real, okay? Our ancestors, everything was fucked up.
It was rough.
It's just been fucked up. We've been under a lot of fucking generational curses, okay? Creating a lot of fucking blockages.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to us, all right? I'm talking to Gen Xers, millennials, Gen Zs. It's up to us to fucking fix the mess they made.
It's a huge mess.
Yes, this shit is a hot mess. Fix it, so then this way we don't pass it on to our offsprings.
And sometimes you just want to grab them and shake them.
Yeah. Sometimes
give them a good shaking.
Because when you deal with those traumas too, like you also create these blockages in yourself.
Of course.
Like these energy blockages where if you're harvesting all that anger and all that hate, the universe is not going to be like, let me bring you a happy person into your life, because
you're going to put that dark cloud right over them too.
Yeah, your vibes aren't matching, your frequency, you guys aren't vibrating the same frequency, so you guys aren't going to mesh together. So like you're blocking yourself from beautiful shit happening to you too, meeting beautiful people, experiencing new situations. That shit is tough, man. It's tough.
I know, which is why now I catch myself. Like when I see somebody like in a real funk, right? But they're not doing like anything to fix it. And they just don't know how to process it, or they rather just sit in the funk. Sit in the funk, you start fucking stinking very fast. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gonna pull myself away because I don't want your rain cloud to start raining on me, because it's just like, no, like I'll give you some pointers, don't get me wrong, I will always try to help somebody out, but if I'm trying to help you out and all you giving me is excuses, I don't know what else to tell you, honey.
Well, that saying is very true of like misery loves company.
Yes. Yeah,
that's very true.
It's easier for someone to just grab someone to help them sit in the funk, rather than
getting up
and taking that hand and having them get dragged out of the funk. You know what I mean? It's just always easier to just sit there and do nothing rather than, see the light at the end of the tunnel and do something.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, you'll get called selfish. You'll get called a bitch, maybe. It's happened to me. But it's just like, no, like boundary. I have to set this boundary because I can't do it, honey. I can't do it. I sat in my own funk for so long that now that I'm not sitting in that hot ass mess, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Like I love my little happy bubble. Let me be in my happy little bubble. That's why I've been wearing a lot of yellow lately, because it just makes me happy.
Yellow is a happy color though.
Yeah, this color just speaks to me this year. And it's just like, I don't want to be in the black anymore. I want to be in the colors, in the bright happiness, freaking living life. And
let me ask you something. How do you cope with your emotions now?
I definitely try to like address things right when it happens, right? Because bottling it up is what I know. Like in the past, I remember when I used to have those like moments, right? Like Pikachu when he's like turned red and like that, right? Because I didn't know. I'm serious. That's how I was, bro.
Like the Tasmanian devil.
Yes. I didn't know how to process my emotions, right? So I would just like chuck it up because that's what I was taught, right? You chuck it up and you keep it moving. But like, then the littlest thing could come along and then I'll be like, right? And then you look crazy. Like I remember, like after I would just, explode, then I would be like, oh my God, Cristina.
This bitch would turn into Mario.
The mess you make.
After she was done being Pikachu, she would turn into Mario.
Right. I used to be like, oh my God, how am I going to clean this one up now?
Is
like,
there a cartoon in that head?
There's a lot going on in this head. So it's like, I learned that was definitely a no-no, like, so I try to address things now when it happens, right? Not right off the bat, I give it a little bit of time, and then I'll be like, oh, hey, remember yesterday when this, whatever. And then I also definitely speak to my therapist about it, right? Definitely do some meditation, and I try and always look at the glasses half full. Like, you know what? The old Cristina would have definitely turned into Pikachu. You are having your moment. You're processing it. It's all right. Breathe and get through it. And that's it. And, I definitely know now to speak to people calmly. Like, yelling and all that is not going to get anywhere. It's not. It's not. Because then I yell, then you're going to yell louder, then I'm going to yell even louder.
And then the clapping starts.
Then the fingers start in the face, then the shoving starts. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, it just escalates. And I just know now, you kill more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. That's what you told me. Because I told her that I wanted to call Geico and fucking curse them out because they wanted my car insurance again. And then she was like, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. They just work there. They're not the ones that raised your policy. I'm like, I know, but I need to put this anger somewhere.
You want to Pikachu someone's ass.
So I definitely still get my moments. I get my moments. But I haven't called them yet because I'm giving myself time. I'm giving myself time and I'm meditating on it. And yeah, that's definitely, meditation definitely works, just like, okay, breathe it in, breathe it out. How do you deal with your emotions now?
Meditation definitely works. Definitely. I allow myself to cry. Let myself feel how I want to feel. I write things down. I definitely communicate a lot too. Like when there's a problem, I need to solve that problem, or else that problem's gonna live in my head rent free. So I need to find a way to solve the problem, and I won't be calm until I find a solution to that problem. And bless you. Oh, that's my neighbor. Introducing my sneezing neighbor. Yeah, ABC's in my lap.
Oh my
God. I don't use my hands anymore unless necessary. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I express myself more verbally and to get my point across, and it's not like in a stank nasty way. Like it's in the tone I'm speaking to you guys in right now, and this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is how we can fix it or we cannot fix it, and things like that. But for me to sit here and say that the old Roxy's still not in there brewing somehow
would be a lot.
Yeah, because there are situations where I want to, use hands and get crazy.
But it's just because it's like we're human, we're creatures of habit.
Yeah.
So it's just like, when something's been instilled in you for so long, when you fix the problem a certain way for so long, it's hard, to. Yeah. That's why they tell you to, count, count to 10.
Oh, I do that too.
Do your breathing, like it's stuff like that. So you don't,
Yeah, just know that if we ever get into a little altercation and I just start counting out of nowhere, it's because I'm trying to stop the old Roxy from coming out.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's even moments where I catch myself on like, ooh, I would love. Like,
bitch, if you would have called me fucking 8 years ago.
8 years ago, if you would have called me 3 years ago, it would have been a wrap. Okay? Like, but now I try to like, oh yeah, kumbaya, my lord. But it's definitely it's like a test. It's like a test. It's like and that's what I think about. Like, I see you. Yeah. The universe is testing me.
I know, but these tests be like,
I know.
I'm over these tests, bro.
I know, but they say that the universe always tests you the most right before there's like a big breakthrough coming. To see, they want to make sure, like, are they really changed or are they faking it?
God, universe, you should know.
So that's what I'm telling you. Do your meditations, do your breathing, really woosah it out before you react.
Right. Just think real quick. I think that, when we were younger, we were definitely more impulsive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We didn't think about what we were saying, what we were doing. I was talking to my oldest daughter about that, about when I was young and how reckless I was with my mouth. I was so reckless. Yeah. Even the things that I would do, like, I was like, how am I still alive, bro?
I know.
Like, it's just crazy how time flies.
But it's all right. That all has to do with growing and evolving as a person, as one should. Because let's keep it real. I think if you stay the same person you are from when you're younger, it's never good. I think it's in a person's DNA to evolve and to grow and to mature. Okay? Because you cannot be 40 years old still trying to fight someone. Because let me tell you, them bones, when they break, they take that much longer to heal. All right? So think about that before you go and you be trying to fucking knock somebody out because they fucking honked the horn at you. Okay? Go fix your road rage. I did. A little bit.
You're not really mad at him honking the horn at you.
Yeah, you're mad at something else.
You're mad at your parents never telling you they love you.
Oh my God. Yeah, why could it be that they just fucked up his breakfast order that morning and the honk set him over the edge?
Oof. Anger, rage, resentment. Yeah. It's about, really dealing with that inner darkness that we all have, that we've all been suppressing. Yeah. That multiple people could have contributed
added to
into our lives, Yeah, the abuse, the toxic behaviors. The aggressiveness. It's just all toxicity shit. It's all about dealing with that. Let's see. Yeah. Really getting to grab all that shit and haul it away. Walk away with it. Let it go. Be some real shit. And then once you do that, you really sit in your throne. Because the moment you control your emotions, nothing or no one has power over you.
Yeah.
Okay? You become the king.
Or the queen.
Yeah, energy's fluid. I always say this in my tarot videos. Energy's fluid. All right. You really sit there with strength and pure balance. And you can think more clearly. You make wiser decisions.
You can see more clearly.
Yeah, It's about fixing all this bullshit. You see all the bullshit? Look how much bullshit. All that.
I can
to get here.
Now the rain is gone.
I can see all the obstacles in my way. No. My bad.
That's not how it goes.
All right, my beautiful people. Remember, life can be a bitch, but that bitch is beautiful. Be kind to one another and spread love.
Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and tell someone to join the sibling circle. Until next time, my beautiful people. Bye.